Welcome back for a new deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're looking at some really fascinating ancient texts, specifically commentaries on the Dhammapada. And we're going to explore something that feels, well, incredibly current. How you deal with what other people think. You know, praise, criticism, the whole package.
That's right. We're drawing from a few sources, actually, telling the same basic story. It's about a man named Atula and his group of friends, companions.
Okay.
This is happening in ancient India, Savatthi, near the Jetavana monastery. And they're essentially looking for some wisdom, a Dhamma talk.
Got it. And our mission here for this deep dive is to take that journey they went on and see what timeless wisdom we can pull from it. You know, like, why do we get judged? Both good and bad judgments.
Yeah, and how should you maybe evaluate that judgment? What does this story really tell us matters in the end?
Exactly. So let's jump right in. Okay, let's unpack this. We start with this guy, Atula.
Right.
And he's got a big group with him, like 500 lay followers. Quite a crowd.
Significant group, yeah. And they're eager. You know, they want to hear a teaching, a Dhamma talk, so they head off to the monastery.
Full of anticipation, I imagine.
Definitely. And their first stop is the venerable Ravata.
Ravata. Okay, what was he known for?
Well, the sources describe him as someone who really valued solitude, like a lion wandering alone, is the phrase used, very into quiet contemplation.
Okay, so this big, eager group shows up wanting a talk.
Yeah.
And Ravata, he's just silent. Doesn't say a word.
Exact, complete silence. He's sticking to his practice.
Wow. So how did Atula and his 500 companions take that?
Not well. The texts are pretty clear they got angry.
Angry at silence, yep.
Genuinely upset that he just didn't engage, didn't give them the talk they came for.
Okay. Well, that's attempt number one.
Yeah.
Didn't go smoothly. Where did this clearly very particular group head next?
So from Ravata, they go to see the venerable Sariputta.
Ah, Sariputta. Now, he's a major figure, right? Known for deep wisdom.
Absolutely. One of the chief disciples. So Atula explains, what happened with Ravata, their frustration with the silence.
Right. And Sariputta's response. What kind of teaching did he offer?
Well, Sariputta listened and then decided to give them a teaching described as extensive Abhidhamma.
Abhidhamma. That's the really complex philosophical stuff, isn't it?
Exactly. Very subtle, very profound analysis of reality. Definitely not, beginner level material necessarily.
So they hated the silence.
Yeah.
How did they react to this, like, super deep, complex, long talk?
Well, guess what?
Oh, no. Don't tell me.
Still angry, just as frustrated, apparently.
You're kidding. Why this time?
The thinking was, according to the text, what use is this to us? This is way too subtle, too difficult. We can't grasp this. So yeah, complex depth, also wrong.
Wow. Okay. Silence is bad. Deep, complex teaching is bad. This group is proving hard to please. Did they just give up then, or try again?
Oh, they kept going. Persistent. You have to give them that.
Okay. Third time's the charm, maybe? Who's next?
For their third stop was the venerable Ananda.
Ananda. Another famous name. Often the Buddha's attendant, known for his amazing memory, and generally seen as quite approachable.
That's him. So again, they explain the whole saga. Ravata's silence, Sariputta's deep dive, their frustration with both.
So Ananda hears this. What's his approach? He must be thinking, okay, silence failed, complexity failed.
Right. So Ananda listened, took it all in, and gave them a Dhamma talk that's described as short and easily understood.
Ah, okay. Simple, clear, to the point.
Exactly. Aiming for clarity, simplicity.
So let me just check. I've got this straight. Silent, bad. Complex and long, bad. Short, clear, simple. Surely this must be it. This has to be what they wanted.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Nope. Still angry.
No. Seriously, why now?
According to the texts, they felt it was too little, too simple.
Too simple.
Yeah, especially maybe after hearing Sariputta's extensive teaching, it felt insufficient, lacking. They were just completely dissatisfied. Three monks, three very different styles, same angry reaction.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting then. They've struck out 3 times. Angry at silence, angry at depth, angry at brevity. What now?
Now, Atula and his companions, all 500 of them, they go straight to the top.
To the Buddha himself.
Directly to the Buddha, yeah.
Yeah.
They approached him, and naturally, he asked them why they'd come, what was up.
And Atula just lays it all out.
The whole story. Their frustration, their anger with Ravada for being silent, their anger with Sariputta for the, the really deep talk, and their anger with Ananda for the simple talk, just total dissatisfaction.
And the Buddha's response, this is the core of it, right? I remember the text says he addresses Atula directly.
He does. He says, "Oh, Atula, this isn't new. This has been the custom from ancient times."
Ah, okay, setting the stage.
And then he delivers this really core teaching. It's captured in verses in the text. He basically explains, look, people criticize the silent one.
Yeah. Okay.
They criticize the one who talks a lot. They criticize the one who speaks moderately, in measure. There just isn't anyone in the world, he says, who escapes criticism.
Wow. That's quite a statement. It's not just people are difficult. It's more like criticism is fundamental.
Yeah.
Unavoidable.
Exactly. It's an inherent part of the human experience. Doesn't matter what you do, silent, talkative, moderate, someone will find fault. It's inescapable.
And he takes it even further, doesn't he? Beyond just people criticizing people.
He does. He broadens the perspective. He points out, even great kings, some people praise them, others criticize them. Think about the great earth itself, he says, or the moon, the sun, even the vast sky, the elements. They too are subject to both praise and blame, depending on who's looking and what they need or want.
Like rain is good for the farmer, bad for the traveler, that kind of thing.
Precisely that kind of thing. It depends on perspective. And then maybe the most striking point.
He includes himself.
He includes himself. Even the Buddha, teaching right there amongst the four assemblies, that's the monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, the whole community.
Yeah.
Even he is criticized by some and praised by others, right there while teaching.
Okay, so that changes everything, doesn't it? If everyone gets criticized, no matter what, even the Buddha, what are you supposed to do with that? How do you know what feedback to listen to, if any? It sounds like you could just get paralyzed.
Right. And that's exactly where the Buddha provides the crucial guidance. He makes a very important distinction.
Okay.
He talks about the judgment coming from the blind and foolish.
The blind and foolish, meaning?
Meaning those who lack wisdom, discernment, understanding. He says their criticism or even their praise, it's immeasurable, which kind of suggests it's all over the place, maybe meaningless, not based on reality.
So the opinions of people who don't really know what they're talking about maybe don't carry much weight.
Essentially, yes. Their judgment isn't grounded. But then he contrasts this with the judgment of the wise and intelligent.
And their judgment.
That matters. The praise or criticism from those who are wise, who are intelligent, is discerning. It comes from a place of understanding what truly constitutes worth. It has basis.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about whether you're judged, but who is judging.
Exactly. Who is doing the praising or blaming? Are they wise? Do they understand?
So how do you spot the kind of person the wise would actually praise? What are the qualities the Buddha pointed to? What signals that real worth that intelligent people recognize?
Well, he describes someone with ashiddhavuti. It means something like flawless conduct or training, like their actions are seamless, no holes or faults.
Okay, flawless conduct. What else?
Someone who is medavi, which translates to intelligent, discerning, sharp.
Right.
And also someone who is panyasalasamahita. That means established in wisdom and virtue. So it's these deep inner qualities.
Conduct, intelligence, wisdom, virtue. Got it. These are the things that people with real understanding value.
That's the idea. It's not about external appearances or trying to please the crowd. It's about cultivating these inner strengths.
And he used a really vivid analogy for this kind of person, didn't he? Something about gold.
Yes, a brilliant analogy. He compared such a person to a pure gold coin, specifically from the Jambu River.
Which was famous for?
Legendary for having the absolute finest, purest gold. So this coin, it's perfect. No blemishes, no impurities. You can test it, polish it. It holds its value. It's intrinsically worthy.
And the point is?
The point is, who could possibly find fault with that? Who would dare to criticize something so genuinely pure and valuable? The implication is that a person perfected in these qualities, wisdom, virtue, conduct, is, in a way, beyond legitimate criticism.
Their worth is just self-evident. At least to those who can recognize true value, like testing gold.
Exactly. And who does the Buddha say does praise such a person? It's not just otherwise humans.
Oh, wow.
He says even the gods, even Brahma himself, the highest deity in that cosmology, recognize and praise such a person.
So it's like universal acknowledgement from the highest levels of understanding for that kind of inner cultivated worth.
That's the picture it paints, yes. True value recognized across the board by the truly discerning. And, the conclusion to this whole episode in the source text is really powerful.
What happened after the Buddha gave this teaching? to Atula and his group.
After hearing this explanation about why they faced criticism, the difference between wise and foolish judgment, what real worth looks like, all 500 of Atula's companions,
Yeah.
they attained the fruit of stream entry.
Wow. Stream entry. That's a huge deal in Buddhism, right? Like the first stage of awakening.
It's a major breakthrough, yes. A fundamental shift in perspective, a first taste of liberation. It shows just how impactful this teaching was for them. It wasn't just, interesting information. It changed them.
That really highlights the power of understanding this. And bringing it back to you, listening now, this ancient story is not just history. It's about you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You will be criticized. You will be praised. It's unavoidable. It's the ancient custom, as the Buddha put it.
So the key takeaways from this deep dive, from following Atula's rather frustrating day and hearing the Buddha's wisdom, well, first, judgment is just a constant. It's universal. Trying to avoid it altogether, that's a losing battle.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. And second, trying to please everyone, like Atula's group tried with the monks. It's not just impossible.
Right.
It's actually misguided. You'll just end up frustrated like they did.
Exactly. And third, and this is maybe the most practical point, the source of the judgment is crucial. You really have to consider who is offering the opinion.
Don't give the blind and foolish the same weight as the wise and intelligent. Learn to tell the difference.
That's the challenge, isn't it? And fourth, true worth. The kind that stands up to scrutiny isn't about getting everyone to like you or avoiding criticism. It's internal.
It's about cultivating those qualities the Buddha mentioned. That flawless conduct, the intelligence or discernment, and being grounded in wisdom and virtue, that's the real gold.
That's the unblemished gold from the Jambu River. It speaks for itself eventually to those who know.
So we've walked through Atula's journey, seen the reactions to silence, depth, and simplicity, and landed on the Buddha's profound lesson about navigating this world full of opinions.
And it really leaves us with this question of enduring relevance, doesn't it? In your own life, with all the feedback flying around online, at work, from family, friends, how do you apply this ancient insight?
How do you filter it? How do you focus on what genuinely helps you cultivate that inner gold, rather than just chasing external approval or getting knocked down by every negative comment?
It's a constant practice, I think.
Yeah. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to chew on. If this story is right, if only the judgment of the truly wise really matters, how are you figuring out who is genuinely wise in your own sphere? Whose opinions are you currently letting shape you? And are they the ones that truly deserve that weight?